My crush rejected me 100 times, but when she found out my true identity, she regretted it immediately. Chapter 8. Brian held Lydia's hand and pulled her into his arms and kissed her passionate on the lips. They kissed for few seconds and Lydia wriggled herself from Brian's arms and say I need to go, and she get into the car. Brian stood looking at Lydia driving out of the mansion, and he returned to the living room with a smile on his face and went straight to his room. Lydia drive few miles away and make stop on the roadside. Lydia touched her lips while flashing back how gentle Brian pulled her into his arms and kissed her, and she smiled happily, while blushing and stepped on gas again. Moments later in kitchen, Aline is washing dishes and Brian walk in and Aline bow her head while focusing on washing the dishes. Brian pick up bottle of soft drink from the fridge and pull seat in the kitchen and sit down. While sipping the soft drink, Aline, what do you think about me now? Do I qualify to date you now? Brian questioned Aline.
Sir, I'm not qualified to date someone like you, Aline replied and turned to Brian and kneeled down.
What are you doing? Brian questioned her.
Sir, I know, I have been treated you so bad, for the past years, please don't sack me, I depends on this job to survive, Aline says while she is on her knees.
Brian smile and say, please stand up, and Aline stood up and Brian get up from his seat and say, you know what, sometimes I thank you in my thoughts, for rejected me, now I have the chance to be with the most beautiful and kind girl in the world, Brian says and walk out. In the living room, Brian is about to climb the stairs and Mrs. Smith say, can we have small conversation, and Brian pause and return to the couch. Brian sit down and Mrs. Smith say, I want to ask you, for a sum of 200,000, to import goods in my new shop, Mrs. Smith says. You can withdraw that from the family account, I didn't block it, Brian says and went to upstairs. Mrs. Smith breath out heavy and lay on the couch and say, I'm sorry Brian, I have to lie to you about this, TOB continue.